Any money for for everyone? If nobody produces anything, will there be anything to divvy up, to hand out?
Very soon there will not be, and that's what they want. They want to usher us into a nation of socialists, where the top people have everything and everyone else is literally barely making a living, and they're sharing everything else. Everything is communal, and the problem with that is you eventually run out of other people's money, and
Well, that's what Margaret Thatcher said, right?
that's why she was one of my favorite women. I looked up to her so very much. We
said
need
this-
more
this-
Margaret Thatchers.
This liberal philosophy is fine until you run out of other people's money.
Exactly.
Then you have to face the music. And so the first rule of economics, I would say, is if you don't produce, you don't have.
Thank you. It's simple as that, as well as supply and demand, as well as letting the free market decide what will float and what will sink. And I think that, for all the people who want to promote the socialist ideology, they're like, well, that's not fair because not everyone can succeed. Well, not anyone can succeed if you want everyone to. Unfortunately, some people are going to have to maybe take a back seat or maybe not reach their plateau. But they do have the right to at least try. In our most important documents as a nation, it says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is the most important word because it says that you have the potential to maybe succeed if you work hard enough and if you get enough of a break, but it also means that you may not necessarily, but you at least have the freedom to try. Whereas in other places where socialism, communism, and Marxism reign supreme, no one has a shot to do anything in terms of reaching your full potential. If you have a talent or a skill, you in no way can ever pursue it or realize your success from it because no one's allowed to ever try. We allow you in America to try, but that's being quickly diminished as there's an attempt to usher to a socialist state.
And that's an essential point that you're making, which is if you don't respect property rights, you don't respect the fact that the person who produces the goods should be the owner of the goods, but in fact you think that everybody is the owner and the government can redistribute it and distribute it any way they want, then you eliminate the possibility of having any incentives to do the right thing, and people fall into those bad habits you were talking about.
Exactly. And that's exactly what they're counting on. They sell it like it's this fair, economic utopia, and they point to places like Switzerland or Sweden, places in the Nordic, say, well, see, it's working there, and the fact is it's not. The fact is there are different variables that come into play that make it appear as if it's working. One is that we are their kind of big brother. We supply them militarily. We kind of protect them economically. We foot the bill for their socialist agenda, but eventually it's going to run out. And the reason why we've been able to do it thus far, and we're kind of on our last toe, let alone last leg here, is that they will eventually run out not only of people's money, but they're not as much. We have more people. So we are 350 million people in America. There's not even really a fraction of that much in those Nordic regions, so they have less people consuming less at a time. So the money is it's taking longer, so it appears as if it's working. Because, the same old saying, you eventually run out of other people's money. And the only reason why it appears to work for them is because it's taking them longer to run out, because they don't have as many people consuming.
Well, as you said, I think very astutely, there are other factors that affect each country, and each country has to, the issue isn't only whether you have capitalism or you have some welfare state. I'll call their system a welfare state. There are other factors. In the case of Switzerland, they made a lot of money by getting all the money that other countries sent when Hitler started the Second World War. So they got the benefit of all that capital that came in. They got the benefit of staying out of the war so that they didn't have the expenditure. They have some good things. Their culture does promote work and productivity on an individual basis. So in order to evaluate a country's prosperity, you have to look at many factors, and their socialism their welfare statism is definitely not contributing to their welfare, and a lot of them are backing off. The same thing applies to Sweden. They're backing off from that because they're starting to see the adverse effects of a welfare state. And I wanted to cover another aspect that really intrigued me, that I think is just a horrendous situation, so shameful, which is the fact that these black ghettos in Illinois or in Baltimore, these people have no protection from the police. They're like left to their own devices, and the police doesn't really even protect them